the Leo and Danny show.
And me and he was we actually all did a stand-up show together.
That's right, in New York.
In New York, yeah.
That was a night that I think is worth going back to, revisiting.
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit.
Well, let me tell you. Can I talk about my point of view from it?
Sure.
So I hadn't met you yet, Danny. I'd heard great things about you from Leo. Seriously, you're looking at me like I'm like. And then I show, and he goes, "Hey, will you do this show?" Because you'd asked me to do the show, and I was like, "Of course, man." And then Rumman, I guess maybe he asked me. I forget. Anyway, I show up, and Rumman was just kind of pacing around, looking so distraught.
Oh yeah,
he was so upset. He's like, "Man, I don't know, dude. Like Danny's fucking with me." I was like, "What do you mean?" I had no idea there was this whole weird kerfluffle that happened beforehand. And then when I met you briefly, I was like, "This dude is Loki."
Yeah.
He's fucking around, dude.
Yeah,
he's mischievous. He's having a great time.
Yeah.
He's promoting the show.
Exactly.
He's promoting himself, which is what it's about.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Rumman was taking it so personally. So I kept saying, like, dude, don't take it personal. Like, I think he was literally afraid that someone was going to, like, one of your fans was going to jump him.
He was. He was worried about that. And I'm going to back up a little bit. I think it's been long enough. A lot of the fans are probably so new they don't even remember this incident last year.
Yeah.
And it started out, Bill, Leo asked me to come do the show. Rumman made a flyer. Things were coming together. The venue was booked. We were ready to start promoting. And I noticed that Rumman had put himself dead center, headliner in the banner, and I was directly to his left, which is still pretty primo billing.
Some good billing.
But I was driving up to Santa Barbara to see my girlfriend, and I just, that mischievous streak you're referring to, I just said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to cause a huge hullabaloo about nothing. Yeah. And so I just pulled into a Starbucks parking lot. I started telling Rumman over a story that I was going to fry him like a little sunfish up on that stage. The sunfish thing, a lot of the fans, they dropped on that.
They still comment sunfish on his page.
Why sunfish? How did sunfish come about?
Because
made it up,
you know, in comedy, you got to be very specific. And I didn't want to say trout or salmon. Those are hackfish. Sunfish. I remember when I was a little, like, 14-year-old, I used to be out with my dad catching sunfish on Sundays.
Yeah.
And if I could catch them, somebody who knew nothing about fishing, I imagine they're a very easy fish. And Rumman, I thought that would be
so like easy
insulting.
target, basically.
Exactly.
Easy target. Yeah.
I was looking for the racist undertone, like maybe something that Indian people like, but no.
No. Bill is dead on. You know who thought it would for sure had to be a racial slur, and who was trolling Urban Dictionary? Like, what does he mean? I need to decode this. Is this a Muslim Sunni attack? Does he hate the Shias? What's
It's a dog whistle.
exactly? Yeah, Austin. No, we're not going to open this up. It wasn't anything like that. It just meant I thought he was going to be an easy target on stage. But then Rumman started fighting back a little bit, at which point it became a serious thing to me. It's like when you run from a pit bull in the street, and at first they didn't give a shit about you. He was just walking, but then you get spooked and you take off the other way. The pit bull's going to chase.
Siri turned on with that one, Danny. That was interesting.
That's how I was. My chase instincts just took over, and I started piling on, to the point where a lot of tickets started getting sold because they thought, I think honestly, they expected a fist fight on stage. Maybe they thought I actually hated the guy.
You really think it got that big?
Well, a couple of the kids in line, they had actual tomatoes because he fucking put out the word like, "Bring your tomatoes." So they had actual tomatoes. I was like, guys, put those in the trash. Nobody can throw tomatoes or get kicked out of here. But yeah, they took it seriously. But
was this when you first realized that you were actually a cult leader, Danny?
Yeah.
I guess so. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm a much better cult leader than I am stand-up comedian. The preparation for that show was I did a couple of open mics.
And then you got hammered.
A disinterested PC lesbian comic in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then this social media influencer guy who was also just a piece of shit at one of my open mics and who was on his phone the entire time I went. I did that. Did a live show with Leo, which I was a little more sober for.
Yeah.
And then it was just off to New York for this sold-out show, which I had no business performing at. So my idea was just be more attitude and flair than substance. And it was interesting. I'm not sure what it was. It was interesting.
Yeah, go with it, because attitude and flair can get you going very far.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It was interesting to see you perform in front of that crowd because I with my limited experience, I had been doing, I'd done maybe like 30 stand-up shows that year. I couldn't get their attention. I couldn't keep them. I could make a section of them laugh. I couldn't get the whole crowd going. But you were able to round up those fucking kids who probably, a lot of them had never even been to a stand-up show and fucking killed it. You did a phenomenal set. And it was nice to see. It was nice to see that all different types of levels of experience in stand-up go against that.
It's like when I did stand-up in New York, I'm so realizing now that I should have taken out 60-70% of the words in my jokes and just adhere to a setup punchline format where this is a good joke right here. This has been getting a laugh. Everything around it gets chiseled away until we're left with joke, 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 joke. If the set is 4 minutes long, but then I do my fucking pony act with the fucking fishing rod and the yellow waders I wore out there.
The 5 minutes.
Great. Yeah. That would have been the better move.
Absolutely.
And unless you have the skill to be a Bill Burr or Louis C.K. and have something to say by virtue of having done stand-up for 20 years, stick to the funny.
Yeah.
And the same with the screenwriting of Adam Carolla or Tucker Max. Stick to the funny.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Danny, it's right there for you. If you want to do it, dude, you could be a great big comic. And
We're
have a great
definitely
going
to do a fucking stand-up show again, dude.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe like a very brief little, like I said, simple stand-up portion and then a live podcast.
Yes.
That's great. A lot of people are touring with podcasts these days. Yeah,
Absolutely,
for sure.
And if we did a podcast like this, plus we brought up kids and roasted them as if they were Austin, we're getting plenty of practice.
Yeah.
That would be a great format where the audience would be getting their money's worth.
Absolutely.
But if we, like, you see these comedians like Jason Nash, like a YouTube comedian. I like Jason Nash. I think he's cool. But he's doing stand-up, and you can tell he jotted down his notebook on a Southwest napkin while flying to the venue. Yeah. Like, that is his act. And it's like you're ripping the audience off.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes, I agree. But yeah, we could combine something. But it's definitely, I think live performance is awesome, and we should try to do something.
I'm down, yeah. I'm
And
down.
I can bring all this
Bill
equipment
Dawes,
to do that.
And Bill Dawes will be there, too.
Hell yeah.
Okay, man.